This is arguably one of the best role-playing games set in the Warhammer 40K universe, perfect for both newcomers wanting to explore the setting and seasoned fans looking to immerse themselves. The game is a complex, turn-based RPG where opinions are divided. You'll either love it or not. The story is engaging, though it leans more towards a power fantasy than the usual grimdark narrative. Definitely worth the investment. Highlights. 1. Story. The narrative is an intricate power fantasy within the Warhammer 40K universe. I enjoyed playing as a character who could actually make an impact in a universe known for its static nature and rigid adherence to dogma. The setting of the Coronis Expanse, cut off from the wider empire, allows your character as a rogue trader to become a major player in the story. The journey takes you to some of the darkest corners of the universe, particularly in Chapter 3, which was necessary but felt a bit too restrictive. The final boss fight in Chapter 5 was both epic and ridiculous. The ending was bittersweet, particularly the Amarnat Yurliet conclusion, which, while impactful, felt a bit too harsh. For those who romanced Yurliet and had high standings with the Eldari explorators, Pasquale, I think it would have been nice to see an alternate outcome acknowledging the captain's relationship with her. Convictions. I chose the iconoclast path, which was the ultimate fantasy I wanted in this universe, being someone striving to unite and help others. The dialogue options felt authentic, reflecting a character who seeks to be a just and fair ruler, fighting against chaos and oppressive dogma. The ending was satisfying, knowing I made a positive difference in the Expanse, though predictably, the Empire wasn't too happy. A friend played as a dogmatic character and described a very different experience, almost like being a holy knight of the Emperor. The heretic path, on the other hand, seemed a bit too chaotic and aggressive for my taste, but that's the nature of chaos. Number 3, companions. I enjoyed most of the companions. Abelard is a standout, Ulfar feels like a big brother, Adira needs more moments for affection, and Heinrichs is a solid character. Cassia is endearing, and Yurliet, though initially arrogant, became one of my favorites, with her romance subplot being especially touching. Some of the other Eldar characters, however, felt more irritating than the tragic, proud figures they could have been. Argenta started strong but didn't develop much beyond her initial persona. Jay was decent, though a bit possessive. One downside is the lack of camaraderie among the companions. Most of them didn't get along, which was disappointing. I wish there were more opportunities for them to bond, except Mazarai, who was insufferable. 4. Mechanical complexity. The game's mechanical depth can be a lot of fun if you're into that sort of thing. Personally, it was enjoyable until the sheer amount of gear and skills became overwhelming. By level 40, I found it hard to keep track of everything. The final boss fight, however, was satisfyingly challenging, even on higher difficulties. Drawbacks. 1. Trash fights. There are too many filler battles, and the random warp travel encounters are tedious. These fights are often over before they begin, making the setup and turn-based gameplay feel like a chore. Reducing the number of these encounters by half wouldn't hurt, as the focus should be on the story. Even significant enemies like demons and Astartes felt inconsequential, so a skip option for these fights would be welcome. 2. Voice acting. The voice acting is exceptional, elevating every character. It's a shame that it's so sporadic throughout the game. None of the female romance dialogue is voiced, and key companion conversations are often silent. I understand budget constraints, but I'd gladly pay for a DLC to have all the companion dialogues fully voiced. The actors and sound direction are top-notch. Areas for improvement. 1. Bugs. I encountered several bugs, none of which were game-breaking, but some were frustrating, like the missing romance panel for Yurliet. Other issues were mostly visual or UI-related, and while no quests were broken, I'm not entirely sure. 2. Conviction system. Despite completing most side quests and opting for iconoclast dialogue choices about 95% of the time, I still didn't max out my conviction. This system feels unbalanced and could benefit from adjustments, as it seems almost impossible to fully achieve any conviction, according to others' experiences as well. Chapter 3. This chapter was particularly buggy and structurally confusing. I disliked having to choose which companions to bring along, as it felt limiting, especially when some have significant backstory reveals that you might miss. I would have preferred having the entire party together to witness their development. Argenta's story, in particular, could have been more deeply explored, allowing other characters like Adira and Abelard to engage with this information more meaningfully.